Of course, remember, this is their finishing order from race 1. Glenn Seaton and John BOWE, they share row 1. It was a very close finish. Dick Johnson and Peter Brock, the old sparring partners, they share the second row.
Third row to grid is Tony Longhurst and Greg Murphy. Fourth row to grid is Russell Ingall and Larry Perkins.
We go back row 5. Stephen Richards had a tremendous first race. John Faulkner, the best of the privateers. Row 6 is Trevor Ashby and Darren Hossack. That's a really good result for young Darren.
Row 7 is Kevin Heffernan and Karen Brewer, lady racer in her first race in a V8. Row 8, John Trimble and Alan Jones, starting way back there. He had tyre problems in the first race.
Queensland's Danny Osborne and Terry Finnegan, because Terry Finnegan's way back there, he did not start, of course. Mark Larkham will not start, and I don't think Ian Palmer will either. That was a really bad way to start the day for those two guys. So we'll have to wait and see if Terry Finnegan rolls up on the line. Yes, indeed he is. There he is, rear of grid in the Sony Commodore. He is just behind Alan Jones. The last couple of guys coming onto the grid. Mark Osler, if this is anything like race 1, we're in for a good one.
Yeah, very close, very competitive racing. It was a ripper between BOWE and Seaton in that opening heat. Just couldn't quite get past, and that means that BOWE now loses his pole position spot. He's over on the right-hand side of the track with Seaton moving to the number 1 slot, so that'll be good for Glenn. Well,
Ingall's mechanics have been working overtime, fixing the clutch problem he had. A quick shot there of Peter Brock. He hasn't won a race here since 1983. Could this be his chance? He's going to have to do pretty well to get ahead of the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton. We're away. Seaton gets away to another beautiful start ahead of John BOWE. Gee, Seaton's good at starting. Brock looks like he's got the wood over Dick Johnson as they headed into the kink. No, he hasn't. Johnson comes back now. So the Shell Helix Falcon of Johnson's got the inside run. That's a good start by him. Murphy's on the inside. Then we go back to Ingall.
Glenn Seaton said he spent a whole day after the last touring car round just sitting out on the track practicing starts. He really murdered the transmission just to make sure he had a way of getting that car off the line cleanly.
Well,
and he's proving it here. Yeah. Huge advantage at Lakeside Raceway as Windscreens O'Brien takes us aboard Peter Brock's 05 Commodore, as he's right in the heart of this battle behind his teammate Greg Murphy and the flying Fords at the front.
Well, remember race 1, John BOWE almost did it. Can he get ahead of Glenn Seaton nice and early here and perhaps pull away or just hold him out for the entire race? Barry, it was a really good finish.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. You see Murphy's pulling away from Brock, and Murphy's a lot quicker at the beginning of this race than he was at the end of the last race. So it's hopefully we're going to see some great stuff from the Murph.
Ingall tries an outside line there on Peter Brock. It was unsuccessful. They come down hard on the brakes into the carousel. Look at these top 4. You couldn't get them any closer.
What is it? Concertina City.
Here's Dick Johnson riding with the 52-year-old master from Queensland back on home turf and thoroughly enjoying himself here today, building up to 225 kilometres an hour as they fly under the Dunlop Bridge and thunder down toward Hungry Corner. Seaton in control, BOWE in second position, Johnson in third, and it's Murphy, Brock, Ingall, Perkins, Longhurst, Stephen Richards and John Faulkner in the top 10.
Well, if Glenn can hang on to this one, it would be his 5th win in a row. Unbelievable. He's almost won 50% of the races, 9 from 19 races this season. Seaton, this is his year.
Look how hard that car of John BOWE's is working as he tries to get some advantage on Seaton. Pulls out of the draft, 250 kilometres an hour. Better look down the outside as they swing through this incredibly quick kick. You can see how hard the cars work as they bounce them off the ripple strip on the inside. Seaton feeling plenty of heat from car 18. Johnson in third. Murphy right up behind him, and we're in the Castrol Commodore.
I think you'll find that BOWE is going to try and stay as close as he can, really try hard to stay as close as he can to Seaton, because at the latter stages of the race, his car, you see the back end of Brocky's car smoking there.
This is the view, the Dunlop view from Russell Ingall's car, the Castrol Commodore. We're in the cockpit with him. Look at that freight train up ahead. Ingall couldn't get any closer to Peter Brock. Down off the eastern loop they come.
Just a few puffs of smoke from the right rear tyre of Brock's car. Could just be bodywork rubbing. That'll maybe work itself into a situation where it's not too much of a problem. Have to keep an eye on that as Seaton leads them down. Braking hard for the carousel once again. 250 kilometres an hour right down, back through the gears, and look how close Johnson is to his teammate BOWE.
Well, that's an interesting word, Mark Osler, teammate, because Seaton's the only one out there at the moment without one. You've got the 2 Shell cars, the 2 Mobil cars, the 2 Castrol cars, all fighting out. They come down underneath the Dunlop Bridge, 225 kilometres per hour through here. There's our high shot. Your Shell Helix race score updating the placings for you. But it's the same old guy at the front, a Ford Credit Falcon, Glenn Seaton, who leads the way.
I'm just looking back there, Jones in 11th place. The tyre problems he had in the first race, he was saying it's not so much the problem with the tyres, it's the fact they can't get the geometry of the car sorted out so it works the tyres properly.
Hence that's wearing them out a lot quicker. This is the view from the rear of Russell Ingall's car. Perkins working hard, and have a look just in behind. It's Tony Longhurst. He had a great race in race number 1. He said it was so hard because he was watching the front and the rear. He said he was surrounded the entire race, but it was his best year of 97.
Tony's got a fabulous package, there's no doubt about it. Small team as we take onboard camera with Russell Ingall. Hard at work. The enforcer put up that incident with Mark Larkham in the opening race. Very aggressive, had a bit of clutch trouble, but he's right back on it. And you can see he's right in the heart of this battle too.
Well, Ingall shared 3 wins this year with Greg Murphy. 3 wins from 19. Here's an earlier incident. Darren Hossack and Kevin Heffernan. The wins car going off the circuit right to the outside and spins. He's going to come in contact with the tyre wall. Young Darren Hossack. Oh, it looks like he just pulled up short there. Here's another angle, the Shell Helix replay.
Yeah, I think he just got out a bit on the dirt and was braking late as he was turning in, and it just brought the background.
The gravel trap pulling him up. There he is. Just got a quick shot of young Darren Hossack there. Have a look how close these it's about to become your top 8 cars that are all within a car length of each other. This is fantastic racing. Through around this very fast part of the track they come again. BOWE and Johnson. Johnson looked like he was about to make a move on BOWE.
No doubt it's the Formula 1 of Australian motorsport. Look how competitive this is. Top 10 cars covered by 0.6 of a second in qualifying. You just even blink your eye, take a breath, and you're back 6 positions. It's so tough out here.
I think
you can see how hard they're pushing, Barry.
Sorry, Mark, I was going to say, I think if Formula 1 was as popular as it was as close as this, I'd be more than happy.
The last time Dick Johnson won a round here at Lakeside was 1989. It's been a long time between drinks for Dick, and we ride with him now. The Shell Helix Falcon. The highest shot from the in-car camera up above the windscreen. There is his teammate John BOWE just a little bit ahead, trying so hard to bridge that gap between he and Seaton. It appears as though it's pulled out a bit. It's around about half a second at the moment. Let's stay with Dick Johnson underneath the Dunlop Bridge.
Fabulous shot there of how hard the car's working. Shell Helix on board camera shows Dick Johnson at the wheel. And he just looks so cool, calm and relaxed. Many decades of experience in this man. He makes it look so easy. But if you ever ride in one of these things, you realise how brutal and how tough they are to drive. Johnson, listen to the roar of this Ford small block V8 as he gives it everything onto the front straight.
Watch BOWE's car through his left hand.
Great pictures there from Dick Johnson's in-car camera. If you would like to be sitting beside Dickie, well, stay tuned because we've got a competition where we can put you right beside the 5 times Australian Touring Car Champ. Stay tuned for more details. There's his windscreens O'Brien profile. 3 times the winner of Bathurst, 5 times Shell Australian Touring Car Champion, as I said. Twice winner of Sandown and also the Eastern Creek 12-hour. This is how Dick's gone this year so far. 6th at Sandown. And the other positions there for you. So hasn't been the best of years, but he had his best round last time round at Eastern Creek, where he picked up a podium finish in 3rd.
Yeah, you see Seaton lapping just a fraction quicker now than John BOWE, and just when you have to wonder with Seaton, you know, whether he sort of plays himself in at the beginning of the race if he can get a good gap, fair enough. But you get the feeling through watching him now that he'll just gradually put on the pressure now, which is a great way of doing it, you know, because it saves your tyres, it saves everything. More especially, it saves your own energy. And we'll see in the next couple of laps, you know, the gap between them is 0.6 of a second, but it's visual, and we'll have to see if he pulls it out anymore. I got an idea. You see there, it's pretty quick through that left-hander.
Well, that was the critical thing. I was talking to John BOWE before the racing today, and he was saying, oh, up the inside, Russell Ingall continuing his run toward the front. He just snuck in front of Peter Brock, I think it was. Dunlop on-board camera. You're riding with him, Russell Ingall, a big aggressive charge toward the front. He's a real charger, this guy. Plenty of speed on board the Castrol Commodore, and he moves up to 5th position.
Still 2nd in the 97 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. But the points difference between he and Glenn Seaton is starting to grow. That first race result, I think he was back in 8th position. That didn't help things.
This is going to be interesting when Ingle oh, Murphy, hang her out. If Ingle gets up with Murphy, I know there's not an awful lot of love lost between them two, so bearing in mind that's Longhurst, they're really on the hammer.
Longhurst starting to come right up on Larry Perkins as well. So the two Castrol cars, one a Commodore, one a Falcon, they're having a good battle. Have a look at them out of Hungary. They tend to get a little sideways as Larry starts to come up on Peter Brock now. On the inside, he's got the inside run on Peter, and he's got him. So Brocky just moves over a little, lets him through. He's got some problems though. Definitely
problems, because a lap or so ago he started lapping slower, in actual fact 2 laps ago, so he's obviously suffering some sort of trouble.
Tony Longhurst just scooted through on the inside there too, so Brock's lost a lot of speed. He's looking at his lap times, the 53.9 last time. Everyone else is running in the 52.1, 51 second bracket, so Brocky's got some problems.
And Tony Longhurst has just broken Glenn Seaton's 1995 lap record, so Longhurst is on fire.
Fastest man on the circuit, a 51.83, and boy, these guys are trading fastest laps by hundredths of a second. That's how tight it is. Seaton was quickest, then the Longhurst knocked him off by a couple of hundredths of a second. So boy, oh boy, what a pressure cooker situation.
And Larry's right up behind Ingle now, so this should be real fun for Murphy if they both have a go.
Tony Longhurst needs to just pick it up a little bit more if he possibly can to tag onto the back. Oh, Larry out in the dirt again, so he is really working very hard. So too Russell Ingle to try and get past Greg Murphy, who sits nicely in 4th. It's still Seaton, BOWE and Johnson, your top 3. Into the carousel they come. And Ingle is very, very close to Murphy.
This will be a great result for Tony Longhurst. He's had a great car, good combination. He got Barry Seaton on board to build his engines. Coming into this season, very happy with the construction of the car, but he's had tyre dramas, so it's good to see him on form back on home turf. We're riding with Russell Ingle as he tries to find a way past Greg Murphy, and boy, he's got his work cut out for him too. Look how fast these V8s are around here. They take up a lot of track. It's a very narrow layout, and finding a way past is very, very difficult.
I don't think Murphy's going to cut Russell any slack.
Keeping you in touch with Top Privateer, it's John Faulkner. And with his new Rob Benson engine in the machine, is sitting in 9th position behind Peter Brock and ahead of Alan Jones, Terry Finnegan, Ashby Trimble, Heffernan. Karen Brewer is doing well, Hossack and Stephen Richards. I don't think has either started this where he started, and he has run into some trouble because he's way back in 17th.
Well, his lap record continues to tumble. John BOWE now is just on a 51.66, so they're chopping and chopping away at it. This lap record has been broken lap after lap. Just shows how hard these guys are trying.
Yeah, you have to hand it to Seaton now. He's pulled out just over a second on John BOWE. You have to feel that Seaton's got it under control. You know, I think he's just using it nice and gently, not giving his tyres too hard a time, and going to hand it to the guy.
Yeah, and he's worked very hard on the setup too, Barry. As you said earlier on, the car just rides the bump so well. Looks very comfortable race package. John BOWE is saying even with the imbalance that they've had in the Shell cars, it's just not enough to close the gap to Seaton.
Well, that's the thing about it, Mark, that none of it's luck, is it? You know, at the end of the day, Seaton's where he is. He's done a lot of testing, and the Dick Johnson cars are up there now because they've been working on them, trying to get out there mid-corner understeer.
There's your Shell Helix race score for you. Seaton, BOWE, Johnson, Murphy, Ingle, and all of the gaps on your right-hand side. Perkins, Longhurst, we go all the way back. Karen Brewer is in 15th position. That's an outstanding effort for our young female driver, only 22 years of age. As we ride now, we're on board with Russell Ingle, the Dunlop in-car camera, and have a look how close he is to Greg Murphy. Pulls to the outside going into the eastern loop, then tucks back in behind Murph. This is good, close V8 supercar racing.
Oh, Seaton! Oh, no!
Well, it's never over till it's over, is it? When he start building that big lead, he was looking absolutely unbeatable here, and look at this, he's gone into the tyre wall.
Oh,
Lap 16 of 23. Right out in front, looked like he was doing it easily, but he's come off big time.
Well, if that would have been the last thing you would have put your money on, Mark, wouldn't it?
We were just about to say that he's going for his 5th straight win in a row, and there he is. Nose into the tyre wall.
Don't know what the situation was there. He may have tangled with the slower car, or whether he's had a mechanical failure. We're not sure at this stage, but he is absolutely shattered. The crowd showing their support, but Glenn Seaton, I know how serious he is, how committed, how determined he is to win this championship in '97. And he really was cruising. And now he's come off. Let's have a look at that in the Shell Helix replay. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to Glenn Seaton. He would have come through at that stage. So he's already come off. And there he is. So not quite sure
it's hard to say there, because to get out as far as he's got out to the wall, it looks as if something went wrong prior to turning into the corner, because it's just too far. He's too sort of over to the left as far as hitting the tyres are concerned. It's your guess is as good as mine. It's just, I think there's more to it than meets the eye, put it that way.
Well, here is our now new race leader. Car 18, the Shell Helix Falcon. John BOWE has taken over the lead, and he's got quite a healthy gap back to his teammate Dick Johnson. So Seaton's bad luck, BOWE's fortune. I'm sure that he doesn't like winning this way, and he wouldn't like to win this way.
This will mean a lot to John BOWE, though, not only in the championship points chase, but also he hasn't won a heat this year. Just shows what a dogged determination this guy's got. He hasn't won a heat all year, but he's still up there third in points. So just by fact of consistency and sheer guts and determination, he's been holding on to the points. Now he's up in the winning position.
Mark, keep in mind too that JB has never won a round here at Lakeside in his Shell Australian Touring Car career. Second in the first race, first in this one, depending on how bad that damage is to Glenn Seaton's car. Have a look at Engel and Murphy. Good close racing continues. And Larry's right in there as well.
Well, times are pretty close. Bowles has done a 52.0, Johnson a 52.1, Murphy's done a 52.5, so he may be holding up this bunch. We don't know at this stage until the other guys get past, but there's quite a queue of cars building up behind the Mobile Commodore. To see if Engel can do anything about it. He's very, very quick coming out of Hungary each time, but he's on the outside. He's got no real estate to play with out there, so he has to tuck in behind Murphy and look for another run.
Just saw on your Shell Helix race score, Terry Finnegan up into the top 10 in the Sony Commodore. He'll be happy with that, but we stay inside the cockpit with Russell Engel. There he is, working very, very hard. In the Castrol Commodore, we have only 4 laps left to run through the kink, close to 240 kilometres per hour. There's Kevin Heffernan in the Price Attack Commodore off to the left there. But Russell is working the back of Greg Murphy very hard, looking for a top 3 finish for himself.
And also, Greg's going to make himself difficult to pass because he knows what the situation was with Russell and Mark Larkham last time. And the last thing that Russell wants to get involved with is another prang. So, you know, I would say that Greg, even though it looks hard for him, I don't think he's going to have too much trouble staying in front of Russell.
Well, it's just nice to see Greg Murphy in the Mobile HRT car finish a race and be out there and running consistent.
It's nice to see him start a race, the amount of transmission problems they've had.
Well, coming into this championship round 2, keep in mind it was Seaton in front, with Engel in second and BOWE in third. Now is Seaton out of this race, and that damage, we're not sure if he's going to be able to get back for heat 3. That could really change the championship situation as we come toward the final rounds.
The better electrical car of John Faulkner is really pressuring Peter Brock quite hard now. Mentioned earlier that he's got a new Rob Benson engine in it. Was running with the Wayne Smith built engines from Sydney. Switched to the Melbourne engine builder. We go inside the Mobile HRT 05 Commodore for the very last time here at Lakeside. Well, second last time I should say. He's got one more race today.
Yeah, I'd say Brocky's sort of struggling with the setup on this car. He's doing sort of 53s, low 53s with the guys up ahead of him running the low 52-second bracket. So he's struggling for a bit of speed. And that's also allowing John Faulkner to close the gap to the factory Holden. And Faulkner's all over him. He may find a way past before this race is over.
John Faulkner suffering from a bout of the flu this weekend. He was very, very weak and sick yesterday. He seems to be a little bit healthier today.
Oh, dear me. Side by side through the left hand. Yeah, nice.
And you'll always find Peter Brock giving someone racing room in that situation.
Well, I think in this situation, Mark, there's no sense in Peter's obviously in some kind of problems. There's no sense in him holding Faulkner up, and you know, he's done the right thing.
You can see Faulkner there already start to pull away a little bit from Peter Brock. So John Faulkner up into 8th as we go straight up to the top end of the field. Here is our race leader, John BOWE. Was trailing Glenn Seaton for a lot of laps and has been handed the lead. And if everything goes all right for the next one lap, John BOWE will have a win here at round 7.
Well, this championship just gets better and better, doesn't it? I mean, it's a real misfortune for Glenn Seaton, and our thoughts go out to him. But what it's done is opened up the championship battle. John BOWE was just about convinced he didn't have the package to be able to take Seaton on fair and square. But now in this situation, it really allows him to get a good haul of points at Lakeside.
Well, there's been some hard luck stories here this weekend. Another one too is Paul Romano, when he went out in an earlier accident, an earlier practice session. And Romano was red hot here at Lakeside this weekend. He broke the lap record in the wet on Friday, and just had a little bit of an accident, sustained some damage to the car, too much to compete. So hard luck for Paul Romano, but it's looking very, very good for this guy here, coming out of the eastern loop, out of the right-hander, onto the main straight, and it is a win in race 2 for the Shell Helix team driver, John BOWE. He'll be happy with that. It's a 1-2, in fact, for the Shell Helix team. Dick Johnson in for second. Greg Murphy hung on for third, and he'll be happy about that.
Yeah, well, it's a great result for John BOWE. You have a grin from ear to ear, I think. His first heat win for the championship in 1997. That's a very important psychological barrier to break. And the car is just slowly getting better and better as they get toward the end of the championship. So he could be heading for a real cliffhanger.
Well, remember earlier in the year, Mark, when we were talking with the Shell team, they said, we know we're struggling now, but around about Eastern Creek, we're hoping to come good. And that's
right.
exactly what they've done.
Yeah, and they're always looking forward to Lakeside too. The recent resurfacing of the track and the tyre testing they did with Dunlop earlier in the year showed them they had a dynamite package.
So it'll be interesting to see if Glenn Seaton can get back for race 3. We'll have to wait and see. Here is your top 5. John BOWE, Dick Johnson, Greg Murphy, Russell Ingall and Larry Perkins coming up for 4th and 5th. So the Castrol cars coming up quite nicely.